Across the centuries, human minds have burned like stars. Some flickered for a moment and were forgotten. Others burned so brightly, their light still reaches us today. We call to them across time, and somehow their voices answer. They speak through our words, our choices, our questions. Their wisdom does not age. Their thoughts do not fade. These are the voices beyond time, the minds that never stopped speaking, and tonight we listen to one of them, Socrates. They said he was the wisest man in Athens, but Socrates did not believe them. He once said, "I know that I know nothing," and in those 6 words, he captured the beginning of all wisdom. For him, knowledge wasn't a treasure to possess, it was a mirror to hold up to the soul. He walked the dusty streets of Athens barefoot, speaking not to teach but to awaken. He asked questions that stripped away comfort. What is virtue? What is justice? What is the good life? And when people couldn't answer, he'd smile gently and say, "Then let us think together." To Socrates, philosophy wasn't a subject, it was a way of living. He believed that every person carries truth within them, but few dare to look inward long enough to find it. He wasn't interested in winning arguments. He was interested in freeing the mind. He compared himself to a midwife, helping others give birth to their own understanding. Because wisdom, he believed, cannot be taught, only discovered. The Athenians loved conversation, but they feared reflection, and Socrates made them reflect too deeply. He questioned the poets, the generals, the politicians. He held up a mirror to their hypocrisy, and they called it rebellion. They accused him of corrupting the youth, but all he ever did was teach them to think for themselves. And so the city he loved condemned him to die. On his final day, he sat calmly with his students, drinking the cup of poison prepared for him. He didn't curse his fate. He didn't beg for mercy. He spoke of the soul. How it cannot die, how it continues in a realm unseen. As the poison began to still his breath, he told them to remember one thing, that philosophy wasn't about knowing, but about seeking. He said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And with that, he gave the world the courage to question everything. Centuries have passed since that day in Athens, but his voice has never gone silent. It lives in every classroom, in every debate, in every person who dares to ask why. He never wrote a single book, yet his ideas survived through the words of others. Plato, Aristotle, generations of thinkers. Like a flame passed from hand to hand. That is the power of true wisdom. It cannot be silenced by death, because it was never born from pride, only from curiosity. Socrates believed that truth lives in dialogue, in the space between two minds willing to listen, and perhaps that is what makes his voice eternal, because even now, in our age of noise and certainty, his question still whispers through the chaos. What does it mean to live a good life? And somewhere, in the quiet corner of every questioning soul, Socrates still walks, barefoot, smiling, asking us to think again. This was a day in the mind of Socrates. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like this video and subscribe to Voices Beyond Time for more cinematic stories that bring the greatest minds back to life. And tell us in the comments, whose mind should we explore next?